All right, David Feldman joins BKFC president. Dave, let's just jump right into it because there's so much to talk about. I want to ask you first about last week. Great event in Fort Lauderdale. A little bit of a scary day for Joey Beltran, both before the fight and after the fight as well. So I guess, I mean, what can you say about the kind of the rough weekend he had, and have you had a chance to talk to him? Is he doing okay after what he went through?
Yeah, certainly. I followed up with him right after the fight. He got back to me about 4 in the morning and said he just left the hospital. We sent him there just to get looked over. He's completely fine. I talked to him again yesterday, just checked on him. Completely fine. He's just ready to go. Text me this morning, hey boss, I need a couple of days to get my head straight and I'm ready to get back. So, what you're going to see, I just want to make sure that all these fighters that compete are in the best health and they should be still competing. And look, he got caught with a good punch. He's been a warrior for us since our first event ever. So, he's a legend in BKFC, and let him get his rest and see what's next for him.
Absolutely. It was a scary knockout. But for those that don't know, the man, I don't want to say nearly died, but I mean, that's fair to say, right? Like he was choking and you had to actually save the man's life earlier in the day.
It was crazy. We were sitting in the lobby and he was eating a little bit of breakfast. And I was talking to one of my guys and he's like, your guy's choking. And I was like, we always joke around with each other. So I'm like, yeah, okay. He's like, no, your guy's really choking. So I turned around and he was like, he was going, and he couldn't really breathe. And then all of a sudden he started turning a little reddish and purplish. So I just grabbed him, a couple of pumps with the Heimlich, and he spit it out, whatever he was eating, and he was good to go. So, it was crazy. It was a crazy way to start that fight day, but it was, I'm glad that he was okay, and it was just crazy.
That is, I just one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. But I'm glad he's healthy. I'm glad he's good. And we look forward to seeing him back. I wanted to ask you as well from last week about James Lilly. I mean, he came in and just looked absolutely phenomenal as well. I mean, are you looking at this guy as an immediate contender in the lightweight division? Because and he sure looks the part.
Yeah, I mean, look, he came in, he did his job, he did what he was supposed to do. He scored a beautiful one-punch knockout over Adam Pellerano, who's as tough as they come, and I think that puts him in a position to take on another contender and see what happens after that. We do have a big card coming up, which I'm sure you're going to talk about, July in London, and that's going to he'll certainly be on that one.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about with the schedule. Before we get to that, I did want to ask you, making some news. So not only you're busy last week, you're busy this week, but you're signing people in the interim, right? Big Ben Rothwell, I mean, an MMA legend to say the least. The guy has been around the game forever, been fighting at the highest level forever, and now he's going to fight for BKFC. So I guess just tell me, I mean, how did this relationship come together, and why was this a guy that made sense for you at BKFC?
I just think he has the style. He wants to sit in there and bang. He can grapple, but he's a guy that, wants to, he gets hit and he throws back. He's right up our alley. And, the heavyweight division is usually the pinnacle of all the weight divisions in all of combat sports. And that's what I want it to be. And I just added some more flavor. And we have 2 more big signings coming this week in the heavyweight division as well. And I think by the end of the week, people are going to say, man, that heavyweight division is really, really looking good.
Outstanding. What can you tease us on the heavyweights? Are we talking about other MMA veterans, like recognizable names? What are we talking about?
We have a former world championship contender in boxing that we're looking to sign right now. Hopefully get that one done tomorrow, the next day. Fought everybody in the world. And then actually 3 signings, and then one guy that hasn't been around for a little bit, but he fits this style perfectly. And then another guy that was fighting in one of the top MMA, organizations recently. So we're going to have 4 new additions to the heavyweight division, and I think all the heavyweights are going to be happy because it's going to, hopefully become some good money fights for them down the road.
I love it. Well, we'll look forward to seeing those announcements. I guess we got some small hints. Maybe we'll try to figure out. So what do you think for Ben? Have you made plans for his debut? I mean, will it maybe be one of these other new signings, or do you have a matchup ready for him?
I mean, it could be one of these new signings. I don't have anything ready for him because, to be quite honest, we were going back and forth a little bit on it, and it just got done. So, he dropped the announcement today. I wasn't even aware that they were announcing it today, which is great. I mean, it was good. It got some good traction. So I don't know who, but I would say probably in the July timeframe, August at the latest. But in that time frame, he'll make his BKFC debut.
Fantastic. We look forward to it. All right. Well, like I said, we got a busy schedule. We'll talk about some of the future. Let's just talk about what's on tap this week, though. Saturday, right? April 30th in Montana. It's Lorenzo Hunt versus Joe Riggs. Lorenzo Hunt, your number 2 pound for pound fighter right now, according to the new BKFC rankings that were released not too long ago, and has had some phenomenal success in BKFC. And then, of course, Joe Riggs. I mean, you don't even have to say if you're an MMA fan, if you're a combat sports fan, you know Diesel. So talk to you about this fight, kind of what intrigues you about this clash, because it's a big one.
I mean, I think that Lorenzo Hunt found his home here, in this sport. Bare knuckle fighting that certainly fits him. He comes in, he bangs out good. He moves a little bit too. Joe Riggs is a very skilled, MMA practitioner for years. Also fought a couple professional boxing matches, has great hands, and is, a veteran in bare knuckle fighting as well, and did very, very well at that. I think this is going to be an unbelievable fight because I think it's going to start out a little technical. I do think it's probably going to be slow for a round and a half or 2 rounds, and then it's going to pick up. And I can't see this fight going the distance, but you never know.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that. You never know, but I think these guys are going to come out and scrap. As you said, maybe feel each other out a little bit, but it's a big fight, man. I'm really excited about this one. And then you just look at the schedule, man. It's crazy. So we're talking about this Saturday in Montana, May 6th and 7th. So you got back-to-back events, one in Florida, one in Thailand, which is, crazy. The following week, May 13th, you're in Omaha. I mean, it's just every single week. I guess, is this, kind of the Triller acquisition at work? I mean, is this what that partnership was all about, was accelerating to this type of schedule?
Not yet, John. We didn't even really get into the Triller partnership yet. I mean, we're there, but we didn't dive into what we're going to do for each other. We're going to start that probably in the June or July timeframe. This is stuff that's been planned. It's crazy because we talked yesterday and we were like, man, we're doing 5 fights in 4 weeks, actually 6 fights in 5 weeks, more than we did almost in our first and second year in business in 6 weeks. It's crazy, man. But, we're putting on great product. The show last Thursday delivered. Really, every BKFC show delivers because it's hard to really have a bad bare knuckle fight, right? I mean, you're banging it out bare knuckles, and it's hard to have a bad fight. So there have been some great fights for us, and we're just continuing to roll out as we're signing new fighters. We have to be able to keep them busy. So that's the big thing and the big reason why we continue to do more and more fights.
So when you look at the schedule and how crazy it is, I mean, is this sustainable? Like, is this the plan moving forward, or was this just like a weird anomaly on the schedule that you just had all these venues ready, or is this what the BKFC schedule is going to look like?
Well, I think it's going to look like as we get to the end of this year, 2022, it's going to probably look like 2 domestic, definitely one, most of the months 2 domestic fights, and then hopefully 2 international fights per month as well. So it's going to be a busy, busy schedule for us. In 2023, certainly it'll be at least 3 live BKFC fights every month and maybe even more. This is growing wild all around the world. Like, it's very popular here in the United States, but let's say like Russia, for instance, we're getting, and, right now with the conflict, I'm for everything that's going on with that, but we're getting 1 million live viewers at 5 a.m. 1 million live viewers in Russia, in Thailand, in all those different countries over there. We have rights deals really all over the world. Latin America, we did our first show was Knuckle Mania, which we only signed the contract 1 day prior to. It did decent numbers. The next fight was New York. It tripled the numbers. The next fight was Wichita. It doubled those numbers. So we're just growing and growing and growing on the viewership. It's going crazy. I'm happy, man. The team's awesome here, and just as long as these guys can, drink enough Red Bull to stay awake and keep doing what they have to do, man. This thing, there's no telling where this thing is going.
That's awesome, man. Congrats on all the success. All right, you touched on it earlier, July in London. Paige VanZant was originally announced the headline. I understand there may be some changes to the date, but Paige is still in the headliner. What do we have there? I think it's moving from July 9th to 16th. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, it'll be July 16th. It'll be at the Wembley Arena. Paige will be on the card. She's not headlining it. That was just a mistake as I just said in an interview, yeah, Paige is going to fight, and then everyone said she's the main event. But I'm hoping to lock one of these heavyweight signings up tomorrow, which will be the main event for that card. And then I have a call right after our interview here, actually, to do co-main event over there. And then the undercard is just stacked with, bare knuckle fighting has been around for a long time in England. So they have some smaller organizations over there that have been doing this for a while. So we kind of took the best of those smaller organizations, and they'll fill out this undercard. It's going to be tremendous. We're doing the Wembley Arena. I think we'll do anywhere between 8,000 and 10,000 in attendance, which will be our largest crowd ever. And, it's going to be amazing launch for us in the UK. We're also partnering with a former heavyweight world champion in boxing for the UK. I'm going to announce that pretty soon too.
Fantastic. That'll be big. Do we have an opponent for Paige VanZant yet? Has that been locked in, or are we still working on that?
No, not yet. We're working on that. We didn't really even dive into it yet. We're going to do that this week. It's just, you could imagine we're going event to event to event to event and trying to match the next card and do this as we're trying to make sure that the guy that fell out on this week's card gets replaced. So, it's a lot of work, but we're getting there and we're going to put on great events. I really can't wait for that one because, that's like Wembley Arena, right? Like I started this thing in an ice hockey rink in Cheyenne, Wyoming, June 2nd, 2018 with 2,000 fans. And now we're going to go to one of the most well-known arenas in the UK on July 16, 2022, 4 years later. It's amazing.
That's pretty incredible. All right, listen, I heard rumblings maybe of a big June. I know you're looking forward to that one in July, but I heard maybe a big June card coming together, probably Florida. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, June 24th will be at the Hard Rock, back at the Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida. We'll have, I can't announce the whole card, but we'll have Luis Palomino back on the card. We'll have Elvin Brito back on the card. We'll have Platinum Mike Perry will be back on that card, as well as a lot of different undercard guys. Probably one of these new signings that I'm going to announce in the next couple of days will be on the card as well. So it's going to be another stacked card. It's going to be a great one. And then, August, we're going to open up. We're going to go to Albuquerque, New Mexico, August 6th, I believe it is. And then the end of August, we're going to go to another new state, which is going to be we'll go to Salt Lake City in Utah. So we're opening up these new states as we're going, out of the summer. And then hopefully the next time we talk, I can tell you about, a couple of these new states that are opening up that are really big for us and going to be very influential for us. But, it's been a crazy ride so far. And here we are 4 years later, kicking it, and well known all over the world and just doing what we have to do and keep putting on these great shows and, taking care of the fighters. So I'm happy, the team's happy, and I think the fighters are happy as well.
That's awesome. So is the goal eventually to get all 50 states regulated and opened? And I guess, how are you finding the progress? Is there pushback or is it pretty receptive?
No, we're getting we're pretty receptive now. Obviously, at the beginning, it took me 8 years just to get one to say yes, and then the second one came along, and then a couple of months later, the third one. It just took a little bit of time to get rolling. Now, I'm not saying they're falling down like dominoes, but it's a little easier because now we actually, the proof is in the pudding now, right? Before I was pitching something and talking about something that never really existed, and there wasn't enough data. Now we have all the data to prove that, everything that we say is true. And, it's, I'm not saying it's easy because it's definitely not easy yet, but it's getting a lot easier to convince these regulators that bare knuckle fighting is safe and is a big draw and can do some good things for their state. So a lot of these states are starting to say yes. And I imagine that, would love to be in all 50 states. I don't know if we're going to do shows and not take nothing away from, Alaska or Hawaii, but I'm sure we're going to go to Hawaii. Hawaii loves this thing. Alaska, we'll see if we ever end up there. Some of these other states, I'm sure that we'll be in, 35 to 40 states by the end of 2023, and we'll be in a really great spot. And we'll probably be in an additional 12 to 24 different countries that we're doing these fights in as well. So it's been an amazing run so far, and we're tired, but we keep on trucking.
That's it, man. All right, listen, I know you got to go because you're a busy man. He said, I appreciate time. I will ask you just one other update. Chad Mendes, any update on him? I've obviously a big name in the MMA community, had a stellar debut. Any idea when the return fight might be?
Yeah, he'll probably be, if I had to put my finger on it, I'd probably say September. He'll be back. He's 100% coming back. He, another reason why I like to use these guys that I really like too, and I really like Chad because he's a good dude, and his trainer actually is having a health issue with his daughter, so he didn't
Mm,
want to put him on the spot and make him train him while he was going through that, so he paused for a little bit, and that's the kind of thing I really take my hat off to a guy like Chad. So because I asked him to come on this July card, I actually thought he would have been spectacular in London, but he wasn't ready yet, so end of August, beginning of September, he'll certainly be back. And then some other, hopefully we have a lot more big names by then. We're starting to dip into boxing more now. So some of the boxing guys are going to come over because they're seeing that this thing is, instead of boxing for 12 3-minute rounds, they fight for 5 2-minute rounds, and, they get significantly more money. So, it's a good place for them to be.
that's a great update. Appreciate you sharing that on Chad. That's a story that, yeah, with his
Yeah.
team that we've been following in the MMA landscape as well. So it's a sad one, but amazing to hear that Chad's that kind of guy. We knew he was. He's always been such a good dude. Well, awesome. Well, listen, Dave, I've kept you long enough. I know you barely have time to do anything with all you're doing. I guess any one last push. The famous Dave Feldman sells April 30th. I mean, BKFC TV. You got to download the app and sign up there. I mean, if people aren't on board, it's time to get on board, right?
100%, man. BKTV app or BKFC.com. Go to BKFC.com to watch the Bare Knuckle TV app. It's $4.99 a month. You're getting 2 to 3 pay-per-view quality fighting events per month. It's less than a cup of coffee. It really is. You go to Starbucks, you're paying less for 3 events than you are. You're getting so much entertainment. It's great fights. Go to BKFC.com this Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, live from Great Falls, Montana. We have Joe Riggs battling Lorenzo Hunt for the 185-pound BKFC championship. Make sure you tune in to BKFC.com.